It's a cold winter night here on the campus of Darien High School, but we have boys varsity soccer for you. The FCIAC Quarterfinal, the number 5 seeded Ridgefield Tigers against the number 4 seeded Darien Blue Wave. Hi everyone, I'm Peter McLean. Alongside me tonight is Eric Cannigan and Lewis Clark. First off, thank you both for being here in this weather. But what do you think we can expect out of tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, we agreed to this prior to looking at the weather report, but excited to be here for a very big game, opening of the FCIAC tournament against the Ridgefield side that Lewis and I were both here for about 2 weeks ago. Should be a great match. Again, something about the weather and the atmosphere is going to add a lot to this as the tent is shaking above us. Lewis, are you as excited for this one as I am?
I was about to just jump in and say I'm really excited for this one, Eric. This one's going to be a big game, big first playoff game for the Blue Wave. It's going to be all about how they start tonight. And you talked about the weather, the wind. Things to look out for tonight: balls on the ground. Balls in the air are going to be really unpredictable. You know, I think it can be an advantage to a goalkeeper as they're kicking the ball long, but they'll be looking to keep the ball on the ground here.
Yeah, the wind's kind of blowing across the field tonight, so we'll see how that plays into effect. We're about to get underway here. Ridgefield will start with it in their white uniforms. Darien wearing the black for the second time ever. We had the game where they wore it the first time. It was worn a few days ago, which resulted in a 1-1 draw, which handed Darien the FCIAC East title.
We got a pretty loud crowd here tonight to our left as well. A lot of brave people braving the wind tonight.
Brave souls. John Bradley just inspecting the net. I'm not sure what for, but this has all the elements for a great first round of the FCIAC.
We apologize for any wind interference you might hear. We're under a tent, but it's still blowing pretty significantly.
So Lewis, as of late, we've had the experience of watching a couple games recently. What are you looking out for in terms of approach from Darien and how they played in their last game and the game against Ridgefield that we did previously?
You know, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of the same tonight from the Blue Wave. We know how they start games. They typically are absorbing a little bit of pressure off the bat and look to capitalize on their set pieces. I don't see a need for that tactic to change. We've seen them come out and get the result that they've needed in both of the occasions that we've been watching. But you know, tough competition and always a risky strategy. So it will be important for them to try and get that first goal for set piece, and we know how organized they are at the back, so they can stick together and keep the ball out of the net. We know they can do that, but I think we'll be seeing a lot of the same tonight.
Looks like we have some sort of net issue with the goal Ridgefield is attacking on, but it looks like we're about to get underway here. These teams played a few weeks ago, as you mentioned off the top, Eric. Darien took that one 3-0. So that's a result they're looking to repeat tonight.
Yeah, again, it's helpful and comforting for this Darien side to know that this is a team they can beat. But again, Ridgefield have the advantage of being able to prove something as they look for the early through ball that gets cut out. Darien, their head coach, John Bradley, his mohawk blending in with the track. I saw he revisited the old blue hair dye or spray, Lewis. I'm sure you'll remember that one.
Oh, that was a classic, and I actually didn't get a close enough look. It did look as if he had done something different to his hair from the side, but is that a confirmation he's gone with the mohawk?
Yeah, I would call it royal blue. It looked very nice. Best he's looked in years.
Tremendous. See, you know, when the coach does that, it does just add a little bit more excitement.
Yeah, for sure. I think he knows that come playoff time, he'll do whatever to get his team motivated. As Darien applying a good amount of pressure, but yeah, it gets the kids up for it. And it may seem like a little silly gesture, but I think it does kind of rally the team. around a cause, which is to progress in this FCIAC tournament, which is filled with so many talented teams. So Darien will hope they'll be able to move on to the semis.
It's been a strong start from the Wave so far. A lot of early pressure and keeping the ball in the opponent's third. I think they'll be looking to try and capitalize on some early opportunities here.
Yeah, it's an efficient press, because if you look, it's probably 3 across the front line, maybe a 4th from midfield who are applying that pressure. They're still sitting pretty far back if you look at the back 4. But it's created enough pressure to unsettle Ridgefield early on here in the first couple of minutes.
So 4 seed versus 5 seed here. You know, when I'm looking at a March Madness bracket, a lot of times I'm thinking 4 versus 5. You know, 5 is technically the underdog, but still right there. Do you think that has any kind of mental going into it for the opposing side, that they feel like they're that underdog role?
Yeah, well, I thought you picked your brackets off of a coin toss, so this is I didn't know there was a reason behind it. No, but it does for sure. You always want to be the underdog, but 4 versus 5 is so close, as we see Darien with a good opportunity on an early corner here.
Ball in is headed away by Ridgefield. You mentioned the bracket. Greenwich and McMahon played earlier in the 1 versus 8 game, which the winner of this will play. That's a game that went to penalty kicks that Greenwich ended up taking 2-1. So the winner of this game will go play Greenwich in the semifinal match.
Yeah, I think that.
And we do have a tent situation at the moment.
It's Gale Forest 1. This is unbelievable. I think it goes to show the strength and the talent of the FCIAC pool when you have a 1 versus 8 matchup go into penalty kicks. So, you know, I think that just goes to show that this game, aside from us almost getting whacked by the tent, could be a very interesting one.
At the end of the day, it's just a number, right? And I think that all these teams believe they can go out and win any game on any given day.
As the wind settles down, we got a tent with about 8 sandbags here that's still
and I think
blowing around.
8 arms also holding it down.
Yeah, I think we need to get some zoo animals here to hold this thing down. Maybe a rhino would do. I mean, this thing is just
moving. Oh, what a great through ball.
Wonderful through ball there by Ridgefield, but booted back by Darien. It's Caruso heading it away.
Yeah, Ridgefield have the advantage of not having to worry about a tent over them, but they seem to be applying a lot of pressure here. And a good opportunity, a nice lofted through ball, which results in a free kick here.
Yeah, so we had a foul there on Whitaker. Fisher Mills or William Hartford, one of them will be taking it for Ridgefield here. A free kick from about the 31-yard line. This is Mills booting it in.
a great ball in.
An offside flag there. We'll see if the main ref sees it.
And the Wave get to break.
Still holding his arm up. I was going to say, I just lifted my finger up to test, but the wind is going in that direction towards the goal, so Ridgefield have that advantage in this first half. I also think it's interesting, Lewis, I must have forgotten that FCIAC games have the 3 referees instead of just 2.
They do. That is a great shout and a great call out. I did forget that, and I think that it does help get those calls just right. We saw in the last game we were calling, there were a couple of questionable calls. But when you are playing with one referee in each half, it's it's tough. It's hard to get it all right.
Shot there, blocked. Looks like Whitaker blocked that one.
Well, Lewis, not to stir up controversy, but do you think that the 2 referee approach has a place in any level of soccer?
Well, I think that that's ultimately one which the league is going to have to keep an eye on. I think it just depends on what ends up happening with some of the instances that there are. But a great through ball here to Kennedy, goalie quick off his line.
Ragland, the goalie for Ridgefield tonight, came all the way out there.
Well, I was going to give a one-word answer to that, Lewis, and it would be no. I don't think he can really make those calls, and not because of the referee quality, but it's just hard to call an offside when you're splitting one half each. So it's nice to see that they have proper linesmen tonight.
Yeah.
Their flags will serve as our, what do you call it, the little wind cone?
Wind indication.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
Just so we know where it's blowing. But I do think Ridgefield, they really should try and get some shots on goal here in the first half. Test Lehan, who is a talented goalkeeper, but again, these conditions are unique.
They're extraordinary.
That ball gets through, but sails wide left, and it will be a goal kick for Lehan and Darien. Lehan's going to be booting pretty much directly into this wind here.
It's tough, but he has such a long boot, but he was able to get it most of the way there, and I think the wind did die down slightly, but it's something to keep in mind.
Bronca doing well as the target man there, as I believe Kennedy is offside, but so much for the ARs. Goes out of play in any case.
Reminder, our code of conduct reminds us to cheer for our team. Do not ride the opponents, the officials, or coaches.
And
if you are found to do so, you will be asked to leave the premises.
a friendly reminder there from the PA on some sporting-like conduct. Always tough on a big game like this. I mean, you got so much school pride on each side. I mean, you want to see your team come out on top, but there always is a right way to do it.
This will be a tough one to control here, but you're right, Lewis. Emotions can get the best of you. Of course, we would never advocate for any foul play. Ridgefield doing a decent job of holding possession there. Making those quick passes, switching the field as we see. Can't quite pick it out. But again, I think it's a common theme with Darien teams and their opponents. The opponents always seem to have better possession, but again, that doesn't always make the difference.
Harford boots it over to Payas.
Almost a good turn there from Ridgefield, but Darien does well to get that ball up. Parwall again showing his talent with tackling. But unfortunately, Darien's attack is very isolated.
Had a foul called on Caruso there, and it will be a set piece for Ridgefield coming up.
Yeah, and this is, again, another really dangerous position. If I'm the Ridgefield players right now, I'm going straight for goal and trying to time it with a gust of wind as well.
We got Harford and Mills. It looks like Mills will take the kick for Ridgefield here. He puts this one in. Headed there, safe by Lehan. Paylies with the head there, but Lehan able to come up with it easily.
That looked like one straight out of practice to me, Lewis. I mean, it was well orchestrated. A nice cross to the far post, intended to be a header across the goalkeeper, which would have caused trouble. Unfortunately for Ridgefield, Lehan is a good reader of the game and did well there.
Absolutely.
Again, such a good tackle from Parwall. He is really a stalwart in this defense. And Kennedy is almost set free.
Peg trying to push it up to Kennedy, able to there.
Darien keep it in attacking third.
DeSantis coming down to take the throw.
Dangerous ball in the box. Nobody there to attack it, really, and Ridgefield has a great opportunity to break.
Whitaker and Caruso both couldn't come down with chances as this will go out on the far side. Galvin to throw.
on down the line.
Galvin with another throw here. Looking to find Bronca.
Mistake of a header there from Darien. As Ridgefield looked to release that great through ball over the top. And a great first touch.
There's a shot.
Oh my goodness.
Was either tipped or hit off a post and bounces away.
I think it was both. I think if we can get a replay, I mean, this is just great play from Ridgefield.
It's tough to tell. But
based off the bounce, that seems like a bounce you'd get off a post.
Yeah,
it definitely
just
hit the post.
Lehan tipped it first.
Let's just say he did, for sake of our conversation. I mean, what a great play from Ridgefield, though. That was an early opportunity, and they'll be disappointed that one hasn't hit the back of the net.
Yeah, and a terrific strike too. He caught it very cleanly. His first touch off his chest was tremendous, and just foiled by the post and by Lehan.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy skill. They call that one chest day. Just taking that one down, nice control, taking it back, cutting in, and just unleashing a strong effort. As looks like another foul here, and a very dangerous opportunity.
And again, I think you got to go for goal here, but we'll have to see.
It will be the senior Fisher Mills taking the kick once again for Ridgefield. Just inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, I think from this run-up, you'd be surprised if he doesn't go for goal here.
He does indeed, but Lehan fields it cleanly.
The ball does its job there, exactly what it's intended for. Gets the touch on there, and Lehan is able to scoop up what turns out to be a soft roll as he looks to distribute, but definitely a bit of a shaky moment from Darien. About 26 in the first half to go.
Here's DeSanctis on the near side, and it will be a Darien throw.
We're seeing a few Halloween costumes in the crowd, actually. I've seen a dog and a lion costume. I think one gentleman is wearing a starburst.
Yeah, I forgot my costume.
Or is that a hot dog? I can't tell.
I forgot the memo, but
it's funny. I feel like, Lewis, we've called 2 games very recently, and there's been a clear shift in the weather that seemed to have happened, over the course of a few days. As our pretense is, wow, this thing's moving.
Yep. Yeah, no, we are definitely getting into a little bit of a winter season here in Connecticut. One of my least favorite, if we're being honest. We seem to have skipped fall.
It definitely got cold quickly, and the wind is doing no favors, and we're not looking forward to the rain that's inevitably coming.
Well, let's not say that. Jinx it.
And a fantastic hit there.
Sails a little high.
I don't know. Lehan looks comfortable, and I'm still trying to work out what that gentleman has as a costume. Lewis, you see him in the red drape.
Oh,
Starburst.
That's a Starburst.
Confirmed. All right. For those viewers at home that were wondering, that's what it is.
Confirmed.
Now, Lehan looks relatively comfortable. Again, I think the wind played into our replay there, so we weren't able to fully see it. But it looked like a potential save in any case. Darien very happy to be tied 0-0.
Yeah. Lehan's distribution is just so strong. I mean, every single time he is finding somebody, he is not just kind of kicking it into nowhere. He really great out the back.
Well, Lewis, as you said, that one went straight to Ridgefield. No, you're right. I mean, he has quite the leg on him, and to have that advantage on your team from the goalkeeper is definitely huge.
And this is a full team effort here at DAF Media. We have everybody holding onto the tent currently. A big shout out to a tremendous crew covering the game
And there's
tonight.
the perfect segue to get into this. A shout out to our DAF Media production crew, Kate DeMark and Jason Bellingham on camera, Mikey Mercine directing, Dalton Moss and Braden Shank graphics and holding down the tent, but everyone's kind of doing that last part.
One team.
Well, and a big thanks to Damien Andrew as well for bringing Lewis and I in on this. You know, it was nice he got us involved a couple years ago. And here we are.
Although if I think he pitched you this night, you might have been more reluctant to get involved.
Yeah, I didn't think about it much, so thank you, Damien. But no, in all seriousness, it's fun to be here on such a big game.
Some strength there from Billy Bronca and great distribution into the middle of the field.
Play it through.
Whitaker gets tripped up. There is a foul called, and we will have a set piece for Darien. It looked like Whitaker was about to break free and might have something to play with there as we'll take another look.
Yeah, you know, oftentimes you can see him get, like there's no ball involved. I do feel like high school referees in particular are nervous to bring out any sort of color card. I've never certainly seen a yellow since.
Oh! There's Caruso, shot on goal, tipped up just high.
Well, as I'm chuckling at Lewis never seeing yellow cards, we had a great effort there as we get a replay.
Caruso from about 35, 40 yards out.
We know he likes a long one.
Able to just almost go top corner. And a masterful save there by Jackson Ragland in goal for Ridgefield. We have a corner coming up here for Darien. This is Peg taking it. He'll put it into the box. It's booted away by Ridgefield.
Yes, as Lewis astutely mentioned, Caruso has had quite a wonder strike recently that we were here for. As Darien really with a big crowd tonight, things are getting exciting.
So there's a cross over the middle, and Darien will try and clear almost there, and they do.
This is really end-to-end stuff at the moment, which is what you love to see.
There's a rip.
Oh my God!
Leahead with a diving save.
Hold on to your tents. This is unbelievable.
So we'll take another look. A strike that Leahan dives and just knocks out of the way.
An absolutely dynamite strike. You can't catch them cleaner than that, and Lee Ham was there
Seriously,
with a strong hand.
I mean, this is the high school level, and he just put in a thunderbolt.
Was that Iniesta? I'm not positive.
So we have a corner kick here for Ridgefield. This is Fisher Mills taking it. He'll put it on the ground in the middle, and that'll be booted away easily by Darien.
It's definitely clear that Ridgefield has been working on their set plays, and they've been coming off so far.
Cheste, I mean, he took another touch off the chest and just whacks it.
Yeah.
It was headed upper corner. Lehan, again, honestly, for such a great effort, it looks like a pretty comfortable save.
So Lehan will come out here and field that one as well. We're approaching the halfway mark here in the first half. So besides cold and windy, how would you describe the game we have tonight?
Well, I'd say entertaining. I want to say balanced, but to be fair, Ridgefield have kind of outplayed everyone.
There's a
Kennedy
wonderful
is
through ball to
offside.
Kennedy. He is offsides.
Good finish, though.
He'll take the shot. Good, solid finish. Just won't count.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that it's always good to see it through. You can see it hit the back of the net. Sometimes that is good for your overall mentality, just to see the ball hit the back of the net. I would agree, Eric. I don't know if I would call it balanced. I think Ridgefield has had the edge here so far. But the wave is battling, and I think for where we stand at the moment, they'd probably take it.
Yeah, and again, I mean, from John Bradley's perspective, you look at the score line, they're not losing, so what else do you have to complain about? I think we saw, again, back in the Stone Age, that you give up chances that teams come very close to scoring, but as long as they don't, then that's the most important thing.
So there's a nice through ball that unfortunately rolls out of bounds for Darien, and it will be a goal kick here.
An opportunity for everybody to kind of reset here. You kind of get the sense of the past few minutes have just been kind of all over the place. Trying to see if a team can catch a bit of rhythm here and hold the ball. And Ridgefield looking to do so.
Caruso there. So there's a ball back to Lehan, which he will field with ease.
Yep. Yeah, I'd like to see the Wave just attack that ball a little bit more. You know, they are really great goal kicks, but you kind of see them stray away from getting their head on the ball. I mean, it's going to be key if they want to try and win this game and keep the ball.
Well, as we see Ridgefield trying to restart an attack here, but well played by Darien. I wanted to ask your impressions of, and that's a great through ball. He's onside.
Ball.
Kennedy onsides this time. He'll try to keep this one in.
Just
out of bounds.
Yeah, that one came off the knee there, I think. But I was going to ask your impressions of Bronca up top, Lewis.
I think he's been strong to start the game. Every single time I've seen him get the ball, he's been able to hold it up well and distribute from there. And I think that that's honestly where they've looked most threatening. It's not when he's able to, you know, get forward and be attacking the goal, but when he's just been able to hold the ball up and distribute it to the rest of his teammates. I mean, you kind of saw it there, and that he received very quickly, was able to get it to his teammate, and then bang, there was a through ball. And Ridgefield kind of attacking and
here's an opportunity for Ridgefield, booted away.
Darien did well there. A lot of legs in the box. It's very easy to trip up an opposition attacker, which could have resulted in a penalty. Ridgefield start all the way back. Two players offside from Darien.
And he's going to let that run.
No call.
I think the referee has to call it at some point.
But I will say that Mills has definitely been kept under wraps so far. I know we always talk about how much of a standout player he is. He's been on a lot of these deliveries, which have been strong, but you know, on the field itself, in active play and open play, they've been able to kind of keep him at rest.
No, I agree, Lewis.
There's a ball by Ridgefield.
Oh my goodness!
Dives once again. It bounces off the crossbar, and Ridgefield finishes it. That'll give them an early 1-0 lead. It looked like Lehan was on his way to another masterful save. This one hit the top bar.
He might have been offside.
I was going to say, I'd like to see it again. I think he was on. I also didn't know, well, never mind.
Well, so soon as I speak of Fisher Mills' quiet day at the office, he's opened up his scoring account for the night. And the Wave, not unfamiliar to this position. They were here just the other night when we were here calling the game. And they're going to have to do it again. And this one's for keeps.
Yeah, I think I just heard chants of "We've got Fisher" over there on the sideline. I didn't know that was the Ridgefield fan base, but they are definitely ecstatic after that goal. And again, good finish, composure. There was a bounce he had to deal with, and he dealt with it and got Ridgefield's opening goal. But this is all Ridgefield pressure so far. And Darien need to make sure they can respond to that.
And we saw a great reaction out of them the other night going into the half. Hopefully they can have a similar one tonight. But it's going to be challenging. There's no doubt about it.
No, that's a good point. I mean, we just a few days ago saw them down 1-0 to Ward, and it took until late in the second half to get through.
Lehan all the way out to boot that through ball away.
But right now, Ridgefield are asking all the questions.
So there's a foul. Peg went down, and it will be a Darien kick.
And I think at this point you got to get some numbers high. Look, it's not time for any sort of desperation.
Kitchen sink tactic.
But I do think, you know, they got to pack the box and get as many people up there so that they can try and keep it up there as well, because they can't keep receiving the ball here.
It's a boot and a half. Wow.
Wonderful boot by Caruso. That one headed but tipped away.
And they did a great job. Great job there.
That's exactly what you needed. A great long ball over the top. Really hard to defend those if you're Ridgefield. Darien just get a flick on, and the goalkeeper does well. They managed to hold on to their lead, which would have been a very quick equalizer.
It's Galvin with the throw here.
It's funny though. It's I mean, these are the types of nights where you really have to take advantage of those long free kicks, your corner kicks, set pieces, because trying to play composed with the wind blowing this hard is just not the easiest way forward. And Darien saw they almost had a breakthrough.
The other thing, all of Darien's kicks tonight are going directly into the wind for the first half, as there's a ball that's going to get through and go in. Lehan was all the way out, and Ridgefield able to roll one in from a ways away.
That was a really great strike from the Ridgefield player. I take nothing away from him. You know, really unfortunate play. You could see what Lehan's trying to do here, coming off his line. Was able to get a decent kick on it, but right to the feet of the Ridgefield player, and he was just so composed to get it into that goal.
Lehan helplessly watches it roll in to the back of the net, and Darien suddenly down 2-0.
Yeah, it seemed like everything's happened so quick. We've spoken so highly of Lehan. Again, he made good connection, but Ridgefield just had a good touch and a good finish. I don't know what else to say.
It was clinical.
And there, again, it's great through balls and great attacking play.
And a tough challenge just got even more challenging for the Wave here. Be interesting to see how they can finish the half and what words of wisdom Mr. Bradley will have for his boys.
Yeah, they'll definitely want to get one back before half, but speaking from personal experience, that definitely looked like a frustration tackle. You know, going 2-0 down so quickly is just not something you want to see happen, especially in a playoff game.
Ridgefield hasn't lost a lot this year, but both matches they dropped, they were held scoreless in. So it's a good sign for Ridgefield if they get points on the board. That one's headed out of bounds and will be a goal kick for Darien.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, that's an interesting statistic, but also just the fact that even up 2-0, they are continuing to push for a third and continuing to apply pressure to this, what I would call rattled Darien defense and goalkeeper right now. I think they've become a little unnerved, and you'd hope John could inspire some confidence here in the halftime team talk.
Yeah, I think the Ridgefield's kind of sense a little bit of blood. I think that they're going to want to try and take advantage of this opportunity, and as they should be applying as much pressure to this Darien team as possible. We talk about the scoreline 2-0. It can be a very dangerous score for the opponent, so I think Ridgefield will be doing everything in their power to avoid conceding here.
As Kai Sparks and George Childs, two sophomores, checking in here for Darien, as Lehan will field this easily. Eric, you touched on it briefly, but how different is it when you score 2 goals in such a short amount of time from a Darien perspective of responding compared to when it's spread out throughout maybe the vast majority of the first half?
Yeah, I think there's probably pros and cons to it happening in both manners. I think the pro is that they know they have a lot of time to respond to this. There's still 10 minutes in the first half and all of the second half to play, whereas you get that dagger late in the second half, and the wind wind comes out of the sails. But at the same time, for a 1-2 punch there, it's just very frustrating, and they'll feel like it shouldn't have happened. But at the same time, Ridgefield have really been out on top for much of this game.
We had a good ball in there by Caruso that was handled by the keeper.
And you look at the midfield and the forwards from Darien, and there's really no organization right now. It's just kind of patchy in terms of how they're approaching this. They're going to get called offside here. It's just so spread out. You have a bunch of Darien players here on the near side. You have one in the midfield on the far side, and then Bronca kind of up isolated. And if he's still on the field, number 23 is still isolated. But I think they've lost their organization, which is a hallmark of John Bradley teams.
There's a header back to the keeper. We feel that it's Henry Cavana up top alone now as Darien made some substitutions.
My favorite player, Cavana Unana.
There it is.
Those of us who joined us the other night will understand that reference.
And please grab your bingo card. There's a lot more to come.
It's Galvin with it on the far side. It's Ryan Roderick taking the throw now for Darien.
Yeah, if you're Darien, we saw it against Ward. You need to leave a lasting impression here in 9 minutes. Otherwise, you know, what do you have to run on in the second half? It's providing you that spark to come out. Ideally, it's a goal, but even if not, just apply some pressure, get some good chances, and give your team the confidence that you have a goal in you.
Took Darien all of about 85 minutes to score in that Ward game. It's not something they can afford to repeat here tonight.
No, completely agree, and I think they'll be ruining the fact that they conceded a second. And John will probably suggest it was a pretty sloppy second to give up. And now, again, you can't just score one in the 85th and then you're in extra time. You have a lot of work to do.
Whitaker trying to flip the field.
The rain is seemingly held off for this first half, which we're all happy about.
Yeah, it's just wind and temperature at this point, but hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah.
DeSanctis with it here. He boots it up off a Ridgefield defender. Once again to the far side.
I think he's on there.
Yeah, they'll be hoping for a corner, although well-bodied. I mean, we're getting some groans from the crowd about a foul, but that was good defensive play.
That is
That, on the other
not
hand,
a good defensive play, as that was a straight body to peg. Will very clearly be a set piece for Darien
See
here.
a replay here. Sometimes the whole forearm gets involved, and that's what we saw there.
You can't really do that.
Again, we have a great opportunity for
and I think he's got to go
Caruso.
direct to goal here.
He's got to go long.
He's got to go long.
Caruso here. Here's the ball in.
Oh, it's a long one.
That will sail. That will sail high above the net, and it will be a Ridgefield kick.
He's provided some good opportunities there, Lewis. I don't know.
He's been their biggest threat so far.
Yeah, agreed. And from set pieces.
Yep.
No less.
33 and 34, the Kennedy boys back on the field.
It's always funny. You seem to run into some familiar faces here at the DHS Stadium field, and we might be hearing from one of those faces just a bit. Stay tuned.
Here's Kennedy trying to control on the near side.
Kennedy doing well to hold possession, but unfortunately he gets double teamed. Darien going for these aggressive tackles. Wow, we have some very animated fan sections tonight.
Every time a player goes down, they start calling for their foul, but not too much avail as this one's booted back into the Darien.
That was Parwall there. He goes to clear the ball, but so many Ridgefield players in the midfield. Very few Darien. Leads to a quick turnover. So we're just around the 5-minute mark. Darien need to show some positive signs here in the second half. Can Billy Bronca provide them?
Thing is, Eric, it seems whenever a Darien attacker gets the ball, they're immediately swarmed by 3 or 4 Ridgefield defenders with no help.
They're swarmed, and that's both a cause of good defending.
There's a nice through ball, and will roll out of bounds and be a goal kick for Darien.
Also, it's a sign of just some isolated attackers, and it's Darien's system we've seen firsthand, and it's kind of a sign of John Bradley's teams. It's a lot of emphasis on the midfield and defense, and it just leads to your attackers being very isolated up front.
22 for 8 for Ridgefield. Emiliano Maldonado.
Lehan with it here, ready to boot it away. Gonna have a short conversation between referees on the far side. We're back underway. 4 minutes left here in this first half. Ridgefield leads 2-0.
Darien swarming here, getting the ball back. Foul. There were a lot of hands on the Darien player. It's 10-tonner.
Peg goes down, no call. Caruso trying to break free.
And at this point, you just got to go yourself, Caruso.
He puts that into Kennedy, and it's booted back.
Not enough juice there on the pass back from Darien. Caruso did so well. And look at him, he's already chugging back.
Got an offsides call, so Darien will take it. Two and a half left here in the first half. Caruso with yet another wondrous boot. This one's into the box, headed up. Oh. Kennedy trying something special, but that will roll out of bounds and be a goal kick.
There was almost a bit of Zidane there. Almost just bikes it, but couldn't get good connection. But again, you saw he was surrounded by 3 defenders, and there's not much you can do in that situation.
It's frustrating. I feel like they just need more players closer to where the ball's going. It's just one guy isolated every time, and these are great balls going into the box. It just feels wasteful, to be honest.
Yeah, and you wonder how much has to do with the tactics versus just, I don't know, reaction to the mood and how things are going in the play. Because I know it's different from the professional level where everyone's really drilled into a certain system. But again, some great.
Here's Parwall up to Kennedy. Kennedy won't be able to keep that one in though.
Dribbling from Parwall and Caruso. 2 very talented defenders.
Caruso, a name we didn't say a whole lot during that Ward game, but making a huge impact here in the first half for Darien.
Yeah, they're very composed.
Another deep ball by Caruso.
They're well positioned, and we've seen both make some good attacking runs and passes.
Kennedy will keep that in on the far side.
great ball
There's a
in the
ball to
box.
goal, fielded easily. It's James Kennedy on the far side, who had the masterful goal actually on this end of the field a few days ago, which kept Darien in this game playing at home, coming in about the 85th minute to force a 1-1 tie with Ward. There's another boot up by Caruso. This one will be rolling out of bounds, and another Ridgefield goal kick.
Yeah.
That'll just about do it for the first half. They won't even bother to take the kick. So, halftime score, Ridgefield 2, Darien nothing. Eric Lewis, your thoughts on the first half?
I'd probably say it's a deflating first half from Darien. Again, you would have hoped they'd push more like we saw against Ward in this, the latter portion of this half. So they really need to come out guns blazing, and I think this is where you start to see some, I don't want to call it desperation tactics from John, but very aggressive tactics in trying to address this 2-0 deficit.
Yeah, you said it, Eric. I think they're going to need to put more players forward and keep the ball in the opponent's half for the majority of this next half. They're going to need to attack, otherwise they'll be heading out here tonight.
All right, we're going to go take our nice halftime break and try to warm up a little, but we'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
We are DAF Media, Darien's hometown source for sports, arts, and entertainment, established in 2017. We Are Community, a volunteer-based organization that gives nearly 50 Darien High School students hands-on experience in video production. We Are Cutting Edge, a STEM initiative. Students use cameras, computers, sound equipment, and innovative software. We Are Live, streaming 120 events per year on our YouTube channel. We Are On the Stage. We Are At the Big Games. We Are On the Field. We Are In the Gym. We Are On the Move, live streaming not only in Darien, but throughout southwestern Connecticut and the tri-state area. We are making a difference. We are DAF Media.
celebrating and supporting Darien athletes. That is a simple mission of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Broadcasting live from the field, DAF Media covers 125 games a year. All Darien teams, our youth, in our town, on our fields. Fields like the center oval and upper oval turfs, the JV softball field, and Stadium East, the longest turf in New England, all made possible by the Darien Athletic Foundation and its generous founders and donors. The Darien Athletic Foundation is not just committed to building our town's athletic infrastructure, it's improving the civic infrastructure for everyone to enjoy. The multimedia scoreboard, the snack bar pavilion, and the stadium lights, a $750,000 investment that makes Darien High School just the second school in Connecticut with LED lights. The Darien Athletic Foundation board is made up of local parents who know just how quickly it goes by. Its archives of more than 60,000 photos capture those precious moments of our young athletes as they strive to be their very best. The Darien Athletic Foundation has raised almost $9.5 million for our town and its kids, and it's not stopping there, as it continues to build a legacy for our youth as bright as their future, both on and off the field.
Welcome back here to the DAF Media Network. This is Boys Varsity Soccer. You see on your screen the FCIAC Tournament 2021 Varsity Bracket. Greenwich took down McMahon earlier today. That's a game that went to penalty shootouts. Ward took down Staples, the biggest upset we have so far. Darien, Ridgefield, our game. Ridgefield currently up 2-0. So those teams, winner of this and Greenwich, will play Monday at Fairfield Ludlow, a neutral site for the semifinals. So we've got 40 minutes to decide the winner of this one. I'm Peter McLean. Alongside me is Eric Hannigan and Jonathan Gill joining us in the booth for the second half. Jonathan, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting to be here. Not the situation I wanted to walk into, of course. Eric, could you give a bit of a recap of the first half to the viewers and myself?
Yeah, Ridgefield really just outperforming Darien on most sides of the field here as Darien have an attack. But Ridgefield just looking very strong, some great creative through balls, some good set plays, and just taking advantage of the opportunities. And they find themselves up 2-0 here.
Well, it's a pretty interesting situation too, because I know Darien's a very defensive-minded team, not used to being down, and the one way that they score, I think, is off of set pieces, so I think they'll be looking to get those opportunities through Caruso. But Eric, do you see any other way through, or any tactical changes they can make to turn this ship around?
Well, it's an ode to a good friend of ours, Jay Alter, but it looks like almost a 4-2-4 here that they're lining up with. And honestly, that's the approach they need to take, because they need those bodies forward. We've seen too many times in the first half they tried to get the ball up and just were overwhelmed by Ridgefield's defense. So they need the man advantage, and they appear to be doing that early on here.
Here's Bronco with an opportunity. He batted away by the Ridgefield goalie. And it will be a corner for Darien, but that's got to be Darien's best chance of the night right there.
Yeah, this is exactly how you want to come out as we see the replay here. Honestly, a good attempt by Bronco there to kind of go low. Good save from Ridgefield, but that's how you want to come out of the second half, just storming and putting pressure on Ridgefield early and often.
Peg dumps it off to Whitaker, back to Peg. He chips this one in, header! Booted away by Ridgefield, but two opportunities for Darien there.
I was going to say probably two better opportunities in the first 2 minutes than we saw in the entire first half for Darien. Just really promising signs. Again, you ask, why didn't this happen earlier?
Galvin with the throw there. That's headed into the box. Bouncing around, Caruso heads it up. Ridgefield heads it away. Something else to note, Will Lehan staying in net for the second half thus far. We saw it in the Ward game and throughout the season. He had kind of been splitting time with Tommy Bronco, but Lehan staying out there for the start of the second.
Yeah, so I actually had the chance to talk to John before the game, and he did say that Tommy had a bit of a leg injury, so I think that might be playing into why Lehan is staying in net. Again, I'm not surprised. Lehan's a great keeper. We have a Ridgefield injury right now, but I think it'll be helpful in these circumstances to keep consistency in such a high pressure game.
Eric, Jonathan, how big is getting the first one back here for Darien, and if they do, how easily do you think the second one will come?
Well, I'm not a math guy, but I think the game is over at 3-0. So there you go. That's point number one. Point number two is if it gets to 2-1, especially in a playoff environment, it's going to be very difficult for these Ridgefield players to keep their composure at the back. So when Darien gets the ball in their third, they're going to be able to create a lot of opportunities going forward, the ball bouncing around in the box. So I think the key is they've got to get one in these first 10 to 20 minutes right here and ratchet up the pressure going in. Something I was curious about, Eric, I was over here and talking to, I guess, your ex-co-commentator, Lewis Clark. And he was discussing Darien has a couple of very strong center backs who also can play pretty strong in an attacking sense. What do you think is going to happen with them going forward in this half, trying to get this first goal?
Well, I think we're already seeing a bit of evidence from that. I think Parwall's playing a little further up. We've seen him kind of dip into the midfield area, or that might be Caruso. That'll play a big impact because, again, you want those ball-playing center backs to really be able to use their talents and abilities on the ball to distribute and create those opportunities for Darien going forward. But I'd say Jonathan summed up perfectly in his 2 points. Really, one goal puts Darien in this, and beyond putting them in this, they really have Ridgefield on the back foot and rattled. Again, a great coach that I had at one point, Juan Carlos Arango, once said that 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline. I think I've mentioned that before on air because you get one back and the opposition is just completely panicking.
That is a cliche. So Ridgefield made a mistake scoring the second goal, as we
Yeah,
all know.
they did.
Yeah.
Small brain strat.
Small brain strategy, as we like to say. And yeah, definitely, I think one key outlet that I think everyone's talked about to death is Caruso and his set pieces. There's quite a large load on his shoulders a really huge one in this half right now. I think we're going to need some very good delivery from him if Darien's going to get back in this game.
Yeah, and I think I want to say they have deployed him in the midfields, like as a set position here. Caruso, that is, which is again encouraging to see. I think John, in certain circumstances, will move players around to different positions when he feels that their talents could be moved or taken advantage of elsewhere.
So this one will be booted back to Lehan, who will field it easily.
Again, this is where you need to take advantage of Lehan's distribution. Not the best there. Sorry, Jonathan.
Well, no, I'm just noting. I think it's something that it's a word that you guys like to use a lot. Ridgefield seemed to be panicking a little bit, honestly. I came in, watched a bit of the first half, and there's a lot of composure, a lot of good play on the ball, especially by number 7 Ridgefield, and you see there's the composure right there. And that's a field goal. Certainly a lot of panicking from Ridgefield. I feel like Darien are going to have a lot more opportunities in this half to get the ball in the Ridgefield third and make it really, really exciting. This is the kind of game Darien want to play. They don't want the ball on the ground. They want it in the air. They want to get it in the danger zones, have it bouncing around, and they don't want Ridgefield to be settled and take time off the clock with possession.
No, I think those are all very astute points. I mean, I wonder where you've been in terms of this analysis for so long. You have some great takes because I agree with all of them. I think Darien need to play to their advantages, which is not always balls on the ground. So we see almost good through ball there.
Eric, it was a contract renegotiation. I was not getting paid enough, and I still am not.
Obviously, only kidding. Just have to state that for viewers. And again, just a nice little heel flick for Caruso.
Baraka with a beautiful through ball, but it's going to get called offsides.
Yeah, I think this game will be defined by whether or not Darien take the next chance that they have. You know, we're only 7 minutes into this second half, but they need to get an early goal, and then Ridgefield will be panicked. As we've said a couple of times, they just will be rattled if they can get on the board. And I think Ridgefield are still showing some promise going forward. Obviously taking advantage of Darien, pushing more players upfield. So it's an interesting balance to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing that's not helping the Ridgefield team and helping Darien a lot is the atmosphere of the fans. And obviously, you know, jokes aside, of course, Eric and I were doing this pro bono, and the reason is that we love it, and part of the reason we love it is the atmosphere. I mean, this is such an incredible occasion. I think, you know, we haven't seen an FCIAC playoff game here in, I think, a little bit of time. I mean, obviously there was a whole mix-up last year with COVID. I remember it was such an ordeal that the players were having, you know, trouble. I'm not even sure if there was a playoff or if it was kind of a
scrimmage format.
Yeah, a half-hearted kind of playoff format. But this is the real deal, the real thing, real fans, which is just, you know, wonderful for all the kids out there.
So there's a nice ball by Galvin that will be booted back by Ridgefield. Last year, the FCIAC split into 3 divisions. Darien played in the West and ultimately dropped the final to Greenwich.
Oh, perfect through
there's
ball.
A wonderful ball.
Oh, it's
that'll miss wide left. With our depth perception, it looked like it was headed for the back of the net, but no, missing wide left. As we'll take another look here off the foot of Peg over the keeper, and just wide.
I'm not out there on the field. It's hard out there, but it has to go in.
Yeah, I mean, you had a great through ball. Honestly, it looked like he made great connection in terms of how he hit that to curl it in. I thought it was in, but again, I said they'll rue if they miss their next chance, and we'll see if that turns out to be correct here.
Yeah, in these playoff games, they're all about being clinical. You see them being won by really tight score lines. You know, everyone's playing fairly defensively, fairly cautiously. And the team that wins is often the team that's just more clinical. Each team's going to get 2 or 3 chances. Who's going to put it in the back of the net? Right now, Darien not looking like that team, but definitely looking better than the first half.
Yeah, Ridgefield, I think in a second goal especially, you saw kind of what you would call a freak incident in terms of the ball coming out in midfield. So they have a decent opportunity here. Ball coming out in midfield and really just the strike to get it on target and past probably 3 or 4 players. on the ground. He took advantage and he finished it, and that's why Ridgefield's up by 2 now.
Miles Dean throwing it in for Ridgefield on the near side. Kennedy popping up and booting that one out. Peg turns that ball. Boots it up and just booted away.
Well, I think something I'd like to see here in midfield and in defense is Darien hold a higher line and kind of change their custom tactics, so to speak, to constant pressure. It starts in the defense, and what you're going to see right here is, and you know, across this half I've seen is that the forwards are pressing extremely well. But the defense of Darien is kind of holding the same line they did in the first half. You have to set the tone, step up to around where, let's say, like the 30.
So there's a ball, Sales, just high.
That was a surprise free kick. That would be incredible to win it. Yeah, we want the defense to press up to around like where the 25, 30 yard line is. You know, to minimum when the ball's in the midfield, have the midfielders pressure the ball. Darien's not going to get this ball back just through Billy Bronca running around, which has happened quite a bit. And I would say here again, they're still holding, you know, I'd say a relatively deep line. We want to see kind of a little bit more pressure from Darien. A bit too much space just on the ball in these midfield areas for Ridgefield right now.
That ball will be kept in on the far side until now we're into Darien throw. Kennedy dumping it off to DeSanctis to take this one. So that one goes out. Will be a corner kick for Darien here. It's number 5, Trevor Pegg, taking it for Darien, far side. Puts this one in the box. That is Sales just deep. Bronca chasing after it, and he is able to keep that one in. It's Galvin with the throw from the near side.
Seems to be picking up as Darien put more players forward, but a bit of a sloppy pass there as Ridgefield will get the throw in.
Weather app telling me gusts are up to 35 miles an hour now. So.
Yeah, the wind certainly isn't helping. I'm not sure which direction it's going, but it certainly doesn't seem like it's helping Darien. It's in the direction Darien. That might be helpful, especially with a lot of long balls being played. And I thought that corner by Trevor Pegg, exactly where you want the ball, flying across the face of goal. One of the forwards needs to be there to meet it. Darien are getting the right services in, and we saw, you know, with the through ball earlier that led to the breakaway chance, they're getting the right passes. It's really just about the finishing and being in the right place at the right time, and just not there yet. But been a wonderful start to the half, but the clock is ticking down. We are already 13 minutes into this, and I'd say they need to get that first goal very, very soon.
This one goes out and will be a Ridgefield throw on the near side. One headed by Whitaker. Bronca finds it, boots it over to Pegg, taking a few touches to no avail. Ooh, spoke too soon. Kennedy.
I don't know.
Puts it out of bounds, and it will be a Ridgefield goal kick.
Seems well timed, but in any case, good look from Darien there. Very creative pass to cut through. Unfortunately, he wasn't going to get to that ball anyways, but they're knocking on the door.
They absolutely are, Eric, but you know, when we come on the air, people ask a lot about John Bradley, and we talk a lot about John Bradley's 1-0 wins, you know, how he holds the line and keeps a clean sheet. Right now he's down 2-0 back against the wall, and this is just not a situation he's used to being in as a coach. I mean, what do you think he has up his sleeve? Because it's just not something that we've experienced a lot with him.
I can't say it's organized, but I think it's more of an approach of throw everything into the kitchen sink at the opposition. because I think you just, at a high school level, you have to throw numbers, and I think that's what he does. And I think that's the tactic. But unfortunately, Ridgefield are continuing to create chances here.
Well, it's very good defense.
Fisher Mills, we've got Fisher continuing to create space for Ridgefield. Number 7 has definitely been a standout so far.
DeSanctis throws this one in, and it will just, they'll let that one roll out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick for Ridgefield. We apologize for any wind our microphones might be picking up. There's not a whole lot we can do about that.
It's actually Jonathan shivering into the mic.
I'm shivering, but delivering more than 35 miles an hour of entertainment. So there you go.
Well said, Jonathan.
So Ridgefield throw from the far side. Just about 25 minutes remaining here in this one. So winner will go on to play Greenwich in the semifinal Monday afternoon.
So Jonathan, I know you joined us here in the second half. Would you say there are any ones to watch so far?
I mean, I have to say, Eric, with ones to watch, I tend to always bank on experience and their historical record. And I would say Billy Bronca is the first person that I'm looking at. I've seen Billy play a lot over the years, and I think one thing he's really good at, which is really helpful in these situations, is being in the right place at the right time, but also being very good at constantly pressing the ball, unnerving the defenders. He's a non-stop engine, and this is what, I'll pause for this opportunity, this is what Darien need. They need to decompose, or get Ridgefield, I guess, to lose any composure. And I think Billy's the one to watch in terms of pressing forward, getting the right opportunities, and also winning the ball back, doing the kind of unsung hero type of work.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way of summarizing things. I believe that's Peg, number 5. I've called a couple of games over the past few years, and I don't know that I've seen Bronca. I've seen him score, but I can't say I've seen him as kind of the target finisher. But like you said, I think he adds a lot in terms of the value and pressuring defenders and really running more than I could even imagine. So it's kind of a unique role for sure. And he's good with hold-up play. He holds the ball well, distributes it well. And, maybe curse of the commentator, he'll end up scoring here.
You talk about experience. Ridgefield is a team that only rosters 11 seniors compared to Darien's 18 and is only returning 12 varsity players this year. So definitely a team on the younger side.
Yeah, I think, stats can sometimes be misleading. I think part of that might also be in terms of how teams approach, roster management, I guess I would say. Because I know John is great in terms of getting as many seniors as possible involved. But you're right. I think experience in whatever capacity is important for a team, be it in training or warm-ups or, game time, whatever. It does play into it. And you'd hope that it plays into it in games like this. Almost a good through ball there.
Parwall chasing this down. Lehan will come up with it and look to boot it away.
No, I think Eric is completely correct in that analysis, and I think that there are, and also different types of people you need in the pitch. And I think seniors, who kind of rose to varsity in their last year, they're very good in these situations where they have to run around a lot. They kind of grind it out. But, you have the grinders, but you also need the skill players in the field. You need the people to be able to put the right balls in, to find the incisive through ball. Darien lacking that a little bit relative to Ridgefield. But I've seen a bit of creativity, but I do think their opportunity is going to really come from a set piece type of play as we get halfway through the half. Darien have been definitely knocking at the door, as we've been saying. This is not a game to to turn off your TV on.
So we're about halfway through this second half, 21 minutes remaining here in the second half, so time left for Darien, but got to play with a little more of a sense of urgency.
Yeah, I think, like Jonathan said, you really need those seniors to start mucking it up in the corners and really getting aggressive here. They need something. It's 20 minutes to go. You don't have much time, and they're certainly running out of it. Jonathan, you've come into this with fresher eyes than Lewis or I have. What have you noticed that really stands out to you as a former midfield maestro, as a former player, just an exceptional talent?
Yeah, it seems like Lewis cursed the first half. I think it's a big takeaway. No, in all seriousness, I think that you know, it just reminds me a lot of, I'm watching Darien actually outplay Ridgefield right now, and I think Ridgefield have a lot more talent on the ball, and it reminds me that especially in the high school soccer context, what really matters is having physicality, heart, determination, and having, you know, pretty cohesive team environment, team tactics. And you know, I think John does really well with that, and we had an experience with two different coaches. Unlike all the kids in the field in Darien, we had two different coaches, and we definitely, you know, once the team, you know, kind of gelled around one, it made a big difference, and I think you're seeing that right now. You know, being a midfield maestro doesn't really matter that much in a game like this. I'll be completely honest, Eric, I wouldn't put myself out there. It's yeah, it's about, you know, how much this team wants it, I guess.
It's a grinder game for sure.
Definitely a grinder game for sure. Except, oh, well, that's nice to watch.
Oh, that's skill player.
That's extremely nice to watch.
Mills trying to chase that one down, unable to, and Darien will look to flip the field. Owen Comey goes down, much to the chagrin of the Darien student section, but they aren't the ones in yellow shirts tonight.
Correct, and I think they actually made the correct call. That was a good tackle. It's just emotions are definitely running high right now. Darien need to nick one.
There's a ball in by Kennedy. Kennedy will try to chase it down and keep it in.
Good touch there from him.
So he crosses that one in. Bronca gets so close.
I would like to see a replay.
I thought that hit the back of his arm from here, but
no
one really called for it.
So Kennedy boots it in. Bronca right there. The other Kennedy also right there, whose head it eventually went off of. But it will be a corner here for Darien. Peg will take it.
You see John motioning up to
Bronca, what a goal! What a goal! That's James Kennedy, the same one who put it away to Ty Ward just 2 nights ago. Gets Darien on the board here. Off the corner by Peg.
It's unbelievable!
Well, we said last time Trevor Pegg put a corner and he put it across the face of goal. It's the place he wanted. No one was there, but this time someone was there, and it was Kennedy. And what a remarkable finish. Eric, have you seen acrobatics like that in FCIAC?
No, I have not. No.
When Darien needs a goal, James Kennedy has come up with it in the last 2 games. They'll have just under 18 minutes here in the second half to try to get an equalizer. So Ridgefield has it. Student section has come alive.
Well, from Darien's perspective, you wish that came a few minutes earlier, but they won't mind right now. That gives them a big foothold in this game. As Ridgefield just clearing the ball. They're a little rattled, as we talked about, as you would expect. And Darien have all the momentum now.
Ridgefield will have a set piece. You gotta hope goals come in bunches if you're Darien tonight. We saw Ridgefield got their second fairly quickly after their first. Something Darien would love to repeat here.
Yeah, they need to capitalize on this momentum switch, and like you said, Ridgefield did well to grab a second right after the first.
Here's a ball into Mills.
Exceptional ball there.
But Galvin able to boot it away. We'll go out.
The fans definitely responding to what we just watched. Darien pushing so well. Again, this is the heart and intensity that Jonathan was
Kennedy
talking
with
about.
it! Oh, he rolls it in right to the keeper.
Good opportunity. I mean, they are now knocking at the door, both fists, and Ridgefield just trying to take any seconds off the clock. And I think from a neutral fan's perspective, and certainly from a Darien fan perspective, that goal is going to make this game so much more fun to watch. This last 16 minutes.
This is the best thing on TV right now. I will say as well, the wind is going to help Darien quite a lot right now. What I'm seeing in Darien's play tactically is that they don't have many midfield outlets, someone who gets the ball in the midfield and plays it to the forwards from the defense. They're really going to rely a lot on the long ball, and I really do think this is a game that's going to be determined by how often Darien have the ball in that Ridgefield final third. They need the territory, so to speak. They need the land. They need to have that ball, past the 30-yard line, and that's going to require just booting it up.
That ball did go out there, and it will be a Ridgefield throw. Bronca doesn't agree with the call, but Ridgefield will have it here on the near side. They're going to move the Ridgefield player back here. Clock did stop briefly there. As Kennedy pushes that one up. And it will be a Darien possession here. Darien and Ridgefield both making subs here. James Galvin will trot off for Darien.
18 for 6, Darien, Ryan Roderick.
And Ryan Roderick checking in for Galvin. James Kennedy with the throw here. Trying to find Bronca. Bronca boots it over his head. Kennedy pops back up. Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like I'm watching like the last 2 minutes of the game right now, and this is just going to go on for 14 of them.
We're in for a treat.
This is absolutely wild.
You can see the sense of urgency in the Darien players, even on set pieces, on throw-ins and such, just trying to get the ball there as quickly as possible. They know time is of the essence. This one will go out of bounds and be a Ridgefield throw. They are really concerned about the spot of the throw-ins on this near sideline.
And it's funny, they push him back and he takes 10 giant steps forward anyways, so it's almost not worth the effort. Good touch there, another good touch. Parwall and Caruso continuing to really create some great chances here.
Here's the ball to Kennedy, and we have an offsides call. Another, looks like they got pegged for it there, and it will be a kick for Ridgefield.
He did look off, but I think the ball just got away from peg. Tackle.
There's a ball up to Mills. He's onsides. Be able to push one in Far side, there's a shot, sails just high. And Darien can exhale a little there.
Yeah, those are the sacrifices you make with pushing players forward. And again, Darien fortunate not to concede there. And could Ridgefield get a little sense of regret if they didn't put that one away?
Here's a throw for Ridgefield on the near side.
And that is just absolutely egregious.
And they are going to call him back here for that one.
Yeah, I mean. And Darien doing well to push up once they get the space in the Ridgefield final tour right now, get the numbers in the box.
They just want the ball out at all costs. Good composure from,
it's a wonderful ball.
Caruso finds Kennedy on the far side. Kennedy trying to push it in. Keep it in.
Oh.
There's an opportunity. James Kennedy was there, looked to put it away, unable to.
Good touch there from Darien.
Whitaker, and that one will be booted out. It will be a corner for Darien here. Peg will take it once again. Whitaker standing by. They were trying to go quickly. Darien making a substitution.
23 for 18, Henry Cavanaugh in the game.
So Henry Cavanaugh, Lewis isn't here. Henry Cavanaugh checking in.
No more jokes.
Peg will push this one into the box.
Oh.
Headed away to no avail, but it will be a goal kick on a penalty.
Oh, another very, very good wall from Peg. And they need to get outside of the corners. They need to get to the byline, put these crosses in soon. But, I mean, God, I'm almost banking on a goal, Eric. What could go wrong here?
No, you said it perfectly. They're playing as if there are only 2 minutes left, and we still have 10. But that's what you need. As we see the Ridgefield player coming off a potential injury there. The clock has been stopped. And we are encroaching upon the 10-minute mark here.
Will be a Ridgefield goal kick. I'd be remiss if I didn't give yet another shout out to our DAF Media production crew tonight. Kate DeMarc, Jason Bellingham, Mike Racine, Dalton Moss, and Braden Shank, all doing their jobs to bring you this broadcast in these frigid conditions, to say the least.
And whoever gave me the blanket. Wonderful gift. Well, Ridgefield burning clock here, and it is on the wrong side of the field for Darien.
We are under 10 minutes here left to play. Darien still looking for their second goal, the equalizer. And if this will be anything like the Ward game, it's going to be close until the very end. There's a throw that will stay in bounds. Lehan will pick it up, however, and look to distribute.
Yeah, and they're really leaving Fisher Mills, like out alone there. I think Ridgefield basically playing, 8 or 9 behind him at this point. Darien doesn't have much to worry about in the way of conceding, but they do have to get the ball forward. And having a little bit of trouble doing it from the middle of the field so far. It's a wonderful tackle. And he gets a foul.
It will be a Darien set piece here. Caruso takes it.
Oh boy.
Comey and Chase. It's gonna go down yet again. The student section wanting a call, but it seems like that's every time a player goes down, they want a call. Here's a good ball. That will go out. It'll be a Darien corner here. Peg coming over to take it.
All the right idea. Send it long, somewhere there on the other end of it.
Peg and Whitaker. Peg dumps it off to Whitaker. Gives it back to Peg. Peg lining it up, misses. Right by a significant margin there, and it will be a Ridgefield goal kick.
What are your view on short corners, Jonathan?
I've seen them work well at the professional game, but like most things at the high school level, you prefer to go on the long side, I'd say. So
just boot it.
It seems as that's just a near side thing, as Peg has been taking them alone when on the far side.
Yeah, that's a good point. I suppose it's in-swinging, out-swinging type ordeal.
and that's a handball.
Wow, the Ridgefield player even stopped.
And that's an offside.
No call on the handball or the offsides, and Ridgefield will have an opportunity. That hits off the crossbar. Lehan tipped it, but it bounces out. It's a game of inches here.
What am I
And
watching?
Lehan saves that.
That is
What?
a stunning turn of luck for Darien. That ball goes in 9 out of 10. I thought that the underside of the bar. I don't understand how it didn't go in.
And now Darien will have a set piece. Just unbelievable that ball doesn't go in the net. You said it 9 out of 10 times. That'll find the back.
And look, don't take it away from Lehan. It's a great reaction save, too. Credit to the goalkeeper.
Caruso trying to boot that one in, deflected.
Again, these are the sacrifices Darien are making. Committing so many men forward.
Mills with it, trying to pick apart the Darien defense alone. And there's a call. Student section right for once. And it looks like a card's gonna come out here. It will be a yellow card for number 10, William Hartford. You mentioned cards don't come out a whole lot in high school soccer, but we see one there.
Yeah, it was for booting the ball away, time wasting. That's as clear as it gets.
We have a moment to reset, 6:32. Lehan, it looks like he's actually gonna come up and take this set piece for Darien.
Yeah, definitely the right idea.
Lehan looking to just boot it up. Near side. And this will go off Darien. That was Kennedy there, so it'll be a Ridgefield throw.
Yeah, not the ball they were looking for, but they still have some time to work with. John making a double substitution.
That's Henry Cavana hustling off there. And Thomas Cleary and George Childs checking into the game for the Wave here.
So we see a weather report on the screen. Nice balmy 55.
That's a bit generous. There's a real feel a lot below that. 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Well, it's funny, we're complaining about the wind up here. It definitely plays a role. If you're on the field trying to control the ball, trying to judge the ball in the air, it's so difficult already on a turf field, and you throw this into it, and it's not easy.
No, don't discount our experience, Eric. as our dear friend Jay Alter would say, the most important part of a sports game is the commentator.
Here's the throw. Darien looking to gain possession. Completely different Darien team here in the second half than what we saw in the first, Eric.
Yeah, this is a tale of two halves, and so far Darien just really bossing this one. Again, with a few exceptions and few chances for Ridgefield, but they're within one, so they can sniff it.
It's definitely the ball. This is the kind of situation that they want.
Here's a ball, Bronca trying to get to it, jumping save, ball will come free but be booted away. There was a whistle down anyways, and it will be a kick for Ridgefield here.
Yeah, I think you'll see if you rewatch that one, Bronca appeared to be going more for the goalkeeper than the ball there. Really tough to judge, and he'll take a yellow for that.
Yeah, Billy Bronca given a yellow there. He's going to get subbed out. Appears to be favoring that left side.
Jonathan, I don't know if I noticed for number 10 on Ridgefield, but did he have to come off for the yellow card?
You know, I was thinking the same thing, and I don't think he did.
So FCIACs might be different. Because I
wait,
remember having to come off in regular season.
Back
for the few yellows I did have.
back in the day when you did something naughty on the field, Yeah, the 30
Or they changed the rule, correct. I mean, these are different times, Jonathan.
It appears as though William Haverford, number 10, is not on the field, but that could be completely unrelated. Ridgefield is going to make a goalkeeper switch here due to the injury, so my guess would be Ian Euchre is now in the game for Ridgefield.
Well,
that's a name.
Look, no matter how good Ian may be, there's an obvious tactic here. It's get it on target against a cold goalkeeper. You just have to get shots on the net.
Speaking of shots on the net, Mills looking for an opportunity here. Pumps it off. There's the through ball in, but Darien able to settle it and boot it away. Spoke a little too soon.
Yeah, some good pressure from Ridgefield, and funny, they really just took advantage of the quick change in the field. Get a couple shots off. Darien need to return fire.
Caruso boots this one up.
Over the top, and here's the cold goalkeeper!
And he will field it cleanly, but some hesitation there.
Yeah, he looked a bit frozen there.
He's also, Ian Euchre, a junior in his first year on varsity. So
talk about getting put into a high stakes situation.
And here's a ball to Mills. He'll try to beat Lehan. Lehan keeps himself in front of it and comes up with a masterful save.
I mean, this is the second time I've just looked over at Jonathan in disbelief. These are some really good saves. Great opportunities from Ridgefield. And
this ball will be out and then a Ridgefield throw on the near side. Well, everything you could want, this game has delivered, maybe besides the weather. But FCIAC quarterfinal game.
No, again, from a neutral perspective, it's been very entertaining. Again, the first half was a bit lopsided, but this is what you get excited to watch in terms of FCIAC and playoff sports.
Well, totally agree, Eric, and I think John Bradley knows what he wants here. He wants a set piece, he wants a corner, he wants a free kick somewhere, in or around the area. They need to test this new goalkeeper.
You got to think Peg from the corner or Caruso from a set piece has been what has given Darien most, if not all, of their chances thus far. So there's Parwall. Caruso intercepts that one, looking to boot it up.
That's the right flag.
Ball.
Kennedy and Chase on the far side, looking to cross this one over. Just not a Darien attacker there. That will go out. It's going to be a goal kick.
Someone's got to be there.
Wow.
It's a great ball across the face goal by Kennedy. Someone has to be there.
So much work he puts in on the left.
You saw Cavanna was coming down just a little too far back to be able to get to that one. And another opportunity pushed away for Darien here. So we're under 3 minutes now.
And I see the clock is just stopped. Wonderful.
She's got a Darien player being stretched out on the far side.
Yeah, this is a combination of the very cold conditions and just late in the game making those burst runs. It does take a toll on the hammies. Sean on to provide his PT expertise. But I think more so, jokes aside, I think he wants to get a sense for how his players are holding up.
Under 3 minutes here. Neither team's season would end tonight with a loss. They both have the state tournament ahead of them. This is just FCIAC's, but nonetheless, not an early exit that either team is looking for here.
Yeah, I think the FCIAC tournament in particular is not one you want to get bounced from first round, especially considering it's only 3 wins to win the title. And so this will be a tough pill to swallow for Darien.
The FCIAC has not done so hot in the state tournament as of recent. Game Time CT declaring them officially in a title drought. Ridgefield was one of the most recent ones for the state as they were co-champions with Glastonbury in 2013, but it's been a while coming for any FCIAC team to make it far in the state tournament.
Yeah, the States is just a completely different experience. Again, you're so used to playing the same characters year after year. throughout the season, you see some teams twice, and then you're up against teams you only hear about, and you go off of stat sheets and standings, which don't really mean much at this level. And so there's just the whole mystery of the unknown about these teams you haven't played before, and I think that does factor in a lot. You hear about Glastonbury being good year after year, Bunnell, and it's a difficult tournament, and it's a bigger tournament. So
I think it's James Kennedy. Matt Kennedy, excuse me.
So that's Matthew Kennedy is now off the field. He was the player down for Darien. We hope that he is okay. Trey DeSantis will be his official replacement here as we're back underway. So that kick will go out of bounds, and it will be a Darien throw here on the near side.
Yeah, now this is the 2.5 minute mark we talked about earlier. This is really when they need to be throwing everything at Ridgefield.
And that ball out of bounds, and it will be a Ridgefield throw here.
Well, Darien, they have to crowd these throws right now. Not allow the outlet pass, even if they risk a breakaway.
Ridgefield making a substitution. They are the leading team, so clock will stop now that we're under, I think it's 4 minutes here.
Ridgefield 22 for 8, Emiliano.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's nice to see that they do pause the clock. The substitution tactic, if you will, does not really pan out in that sense.
Comey boots that one up.
Darien pushing numbers forward.
It's DeSantis trying to win that ball on the far side. It's going to be a Darien throw. DeSantis will take it. He'll throw it back to Caruso.
Oh,
and they're going to give him an illegal.
This referee is.
They're going to give him an illegal throw, so possession will flip.
Someone was brushing up on the rule book beforehand.
Well, look, Darien are going to be kicking themselves if they do not get a shot on target in these last 2 minutes. They haven't had one, I believe, since the goal.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. They've had some half chances, but
back to Caruso. Caruso rolls this one, and it will just miss wide and be a goal kick for Ridgefield.
Yeah, I say if Darien's lucky, they have one more decent chance here because Ridgefield's going to do everything possible to just boot the ball up and take clock off.
Under 90 seconds now left.
Tick, tick.
And that's going to go out of bounds. Throw for Darien. Comey will take it here from the near side.
No foul throw this time.
And there's
handball, looks like.
Handball called.
Ugh. Yeah, the circle is closing on Darien right now. They've limited time.
60 seconds just about left here as this is going to be booted all the way to the other end of the field. Caruso with it, trying to flip it. This ball will come out of bounds and be a Darien throw.
The rain
first raindrops starting to come. There's Paul Warr booting it to the far side.
He had a bit more of time to take a touch there because now Ridgefield, all the time and space in the world.
Half a minute remaining here in this one. Ridgefield clinging on to their 2-1 lead. They're just going to keep this ball in the corner. Caruso boots this one up. And 10 seconds left here for Darien. Goalie all the way out. James Kennedy with an opportunity. Time expires. James Kennedy puts it away with 1 second left on the clock. And Darien will tie the game as time expires. The student section is going berserk. Another look. Kennedy sneaks it in to the back corner.
No. I'm in a dream. Are you kidding me?
And we are headed to extra time here. 2-2. Kennedy, they will put a second back on the clock. So Ridgefield will kick it off. James Kennedy, responsible for the most recent 3 Darien goals going back to the Ward game.
I've seen high school highlights before. I've never seen something like that.
Folks, this is soccer. There's usually not a ticking clock. I've never seen a buzzer beater. You never will see it.
No, you seriously do not see
This is
something
just
like that.
impossible.
I just want to shout out to all our viewers who are tuning in to something very special tonight, including Carl from Chicago. Thank you for tuning in. This is just unbelievable. I have no words.
Another look at it here. You see Ian Euchre for Ridgefield comes all the way out, leaving Kennedy wide open to put that one in the net. Although credit to Euchre, he did almost get back there. And Kennedy just finds the back left corner right as time expires. The celebratory slide, the student section went berserk.
25 seconds left, and the ball is in the corner in Darien's half.
Yeah. They were trying to dink it around, and I thought it was done.
I was ready to start giving the wrap up, a good FCIAC showing for Darien, but no, it's not over till it's over, and that took on a completely new meaning here tonight. We do have quite an intermission here between the end of regulation and the start of overtime, so we will take a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the start of extra time shortly.
We are DAF Media, Darien's hometown source for sports, arts, and entertainment, established in 2017. We Are Community, a volunteer-based organization that gives nearly 50 Darien high school students hands-on experience in video production. We Are Cutting Edge, a STEM initiative. Students use cameras, computers, sound equipment, and innovative software. We Are Live, streaming 120 events per year on our YouTube channel. We Are On the Stage. We Are At the Big Games. We Are On the Field. We Are In the Gym. We Are On the Move, live streaming not only in Darien, but throughout southwestern Connecticut and the tri-state area. We are making a difference. We are DAF Media.
Welcome back here on the DAF Media Network to probably the most chaotic soccer game any of us have ever seen.
Not even close. I mean, it is freezing cold, but I would watch a stream of this game outside in Siberia. That is how exciting it is. Honestly, I mean, Eric, statistically speaking, none of us will ever see anything like that in a sport ever again. It's soccer, not many goals, and there's rarely ever a ticking clock.
I think you'll understand from our composed reaction that we just were not expecting that. Correct. The ticking clock, it's a hard stop. Unlike professional soccer, you get extra time to let the play go on. It's so hard to even envision that happening. And here we are, first round of the FCIAC. Darien bouncing back from 2-0 as we're entering the first half of extra time.
Now, we've talked a lot about Darien. How does Ridgefield respond coming into this overtime, having just surrendered 2 second-half goals? And you got to think they were pretty confident going into the second half. How do they respond coming into this extra time period?
You better have had quite the half or the end of regulation speech, because you are just you're rattled. I don't know what else to say.
They're panicking. I mean, I might be biased, but they might. I don't know how they're going to respond by losing. I mean, this is.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd be surprised if Ridgefield comes out on top. I don't want to say that, so I won't. But
and also, like, what an incredible game of soccer too. I mean, you know, lest we forget Will Lehan with 2 saves that you just don't normally make.
2
I mean,
worldies.
I mean, this has just been.
No, it's been unbelievable, and you can already tell just by Ridgefield's defense there, just trying to boot it. They are on their back foot here.
One thing to note, it is not golden goal. We will play
Correct.
2 10-minute extra periods no matter what happens. So 1 goal is not enough to put this game away.
Yeah, and I think for Ridgefield, everything really needs to channel through Fisher. Fisher Mills, that is number 7. He's been their outstanding player and really a talent up top, but the defense looks shaky.
It's also an adjustment because pretty much the entire second half was spent with Fisher Mills up top and everyone else in defense.
Yeah, it's very well said. Completely alone. I think the adjustment is going to be hard for Ridgefield. I think John Bradley knows to put his foot on the gas and play as if they were down 2-1, keep that pressure intensity. And Ridgefield have to reach
their opportunity for Peg from the corner.
I mean, this is Darien's bread and butter right now.
They need it on target. A shot on target will do from anywhere. They need this ball across the face of goal.
There's another ball by Peg, headed away.
Darien just need to get this one in the box before Ridgefield get numbers back. And that's not the turnover you're looking for. Nice and composed from Darien.
Harwell turns that one.
And you have to say, probably one of the more disappointed figures in this is Jackson Ragland, the Ridgefield goalkeeper who got out.
Here's not for Peg, gets it knocked away.
That's the right idea.
And that will say a wide right.
Yeah, Eric, you were speaking about referees, and I'd say one thing that I'd say from experience is that the rules of the game are that they're always right. So I guess that that puts me on the right side of things when I'm reffing, so to speak.
That's
but
Socrates stuff right there.
Thank you, it is. You know, philosophy aside, this referee's been a little bit too lenient in this game. It's been very rough and tumble. I'm curious to see if he's going to give Darien some calls, because it is very important. Darien are a set-piece team. They need these fouls called around the box in order to generate the opportunities. So we'll see if he changes his stance a little bit.
But in fairness, I think he probably is also reacting to the environment in this very high-stakes match. I think certain referees want to let the game go. Mm-hmm. Socrates aside. But I will say there have been some interesting decisions. It is hard to see from up here. I think he does have a better view of it. So I don't think refereeing will define this match by any means.
Big brain commentary on DAF.
Always.
Only.
I mean, again, a great ball forward and hesitation from Euchre.
Yeah, you see Euchre. Not sure how much varsity experience he has gotten. It is his first year. We're not sure how many matches he's gotten in so far this year, but
a lot more hesitation from this euchre than Philip Euchre dishing out Lewis's chemistry grades, their physics. That's for sure.
It's a ruthless broadcast when Eric Canigan's on it.
Not just the broadcast.
Caruso boots this one up.
Look, in fairness to Eric, who's also ruthless on the field, and that is what Darien needs right now. They need to just keep winning the ball back. But again, you know, what I'm seeing, you know, the excitement of that equalizer aside, and I was saying this right before they scored, they still haven't had enough shots on target besides the goal. They're putting a lot of good balls out wide, getting the crosses in across the face of goal. But someone needs to be there to just strike the ball at the net, even if it's not, you know, a high quality chance. And right now, Darien, I think, is just not testing the goalkeeper enough relative to you know, how many potential chances they're creating.
We have a Darien player down, which is causing a brief stoppage and play here. Just under 5 minutes here left in the first overtime period. We will play 2 regardless of what happens, as James Kennedy standing up now and appears to be walking off the field on his own power. Hopefully he is okay, and for Darien back in the game soon.
Is that both Kennedys who have picked up an injury? That's tough to see. They've been, again, in the couple games I've watched, very strong players bolting down the left and right flanks respectively.
James did break into a jog there as he heads off the field. So
yeah, I think it's a lot of late game fatigue as we see a ball.
Caruso kicks it long, but just not necessarily on target and misses wide right.
Yeah, and how do you approach this, Jonathan? I mean, you have the momentum, but I think a lot of that momentum has subsided here. They're playing a little more cautiously, but applying pressure. I mean, are you going for a goal, or are you going for penalties and taking your odds in that?
Well, I guess it's become a more complicated question with the new goalkeeper in for Ridgefield, with the relative lack of experience. But I'd still go with, I just don't think it's that easy for Ridgefield to pivot from playing ultra defensive back to the normal mode of play. You still see Fisher Mills up there all alone. I think Darien should take advantage of the fact that Ridgefield are just playing too deep because they're too shocked, and keep their foot on the gas. But that means continuing to press these balls in the midfield, and means continuing to play like you're losing. You know, it's a cliche, you know, they say play like you're losing, but something that, you know, I think John Bradley's going to really try and instill in his team. Although I will say, Eric, just a John Bradley commentary would not surprise me if he tried to wait it out for pens, because I think, you know, and it's not just to speak about the Ridgefield goalkeeper. I mean, you know, Will Lehan's just been so good. I mean, you're really backing Darien in that type of situation. And we're speaking about it hypothetically, but we're not really far away.
No,
this first half's almost over.
We're 13 minutes away from what could be very electric penalty kick shootout.
Not the first game to go to overtime. Actually, the team, the Greenwich and McMahon, who the winner of this will play, went to 2 overtime periods and eventually to penalty shootouts earlier today. Greenwich took that one 2-1 in a penalty shootout. So
yeah, it's something about the playoffs that just really get every team up for it. I mean, you could be an 8 seed, you could be a 4 or 5 matchup, and it's just very competitive. I mean, I guess on occasion you could see some blowouts, but these teams know everything's to play for.
The FCIAC as a whole, even in the regular season, as Childs pushes this one up to Kennedy, and it gets swept away by the keeper. Caruso fielding it and trying to keep this Darien attack alive, but it will be cleared away by Ridgefield.
That's good assertive play by the goalkeeper there. It's not easy to come out and be brave, get off your line. Hats off to him.
As we were saying, though, the FCIAC has really been competitive all year with only a few blowouts here and there, a lot of ties, a lot of close games. So regardless of who takes this one and going forward, the FCIAC should be one to watch in boys soccer. There's a ball right to Lehan. He will keep this one in bounds and field it easily.
against the run of play here for Ridgefield, but some good dribbling and ball control.
But just not enough people in support. It's great skill from. Excuse me. It's not Fisher Mills this time. So there we go. Surprise.
Lucia, I think.
Yeah, it's
19.
Pablo Rubio Lucia. Great skill, but no one around. No support. Ridgefield playing, basically, 8 at the back. They're still playing that way. I mean, Darien have to take advantage at some point.
Similar to what we saw from Darien at the beginning of the first half, where they would get a man with the ball and just no one around him to support there.
It is kind of a tale of two halves. That was Darien for much of the first half, really, with Bronca isolated up top, and now Ridgefield really just looking to get a goal off a counter and hold on.
No, look, it's a game played with a ball and feet, but it's also a psychological game, and you can't be small, you can't be a midget mentally in these situations.
And we're gonna have a foul here. Some referee discussion before we get a call.
And first fight of the game.
So George Childs made some contact, went over to check to make sure the Ridgefield player was doing all right, and got shoved there. So we'll see what happens. And they're going to give George, I think he just got red carded.
Oh my God. I believe I definitely saw the referee put a red card back in his pocket. I did not see him raise it.
George went straight off the field too, so it seems as though he knows what happened. And
well, I'll have to take out my very frozen finger and count the number of players. I couldn't really see. It was a very, very abrupt.
It looked like he was walking away, just giving Ridgefield a penalty opportunity, and then all of a sudden yanks out the red card for Childs.
Well, here I am saying the refereeing would not define this one, and it very well can.
And then he just raised a yellow towards the Darien bench as well.
John might have gotten on the books. I don't know. I was trying to fix the temperature of the light.
So 27 seconds left here in the first overtime period. With some high-level math, Darien is down to 10 players on the field, so it appears that it was in fact a red card on George Childs. And just
we do have a Columbia mathematics grad student on the call with us, so we'll have to refer to his expertise.
And you see number 4, Drew Blackman, the junior, going off the field now. Hopefully he's all right. He's the one who Childs made contact with.
Well, look, Eric, it doesn't take a great mathematician to figure out the outcome of this game now. I mean, Darien, the team of the momentum now is 10. And
play for Pens.
They play for Pens, and
yeah.
They have the best park the bus, hold the line coach in the entire FCIAC. So I, as a prediction, might eat my own words, I'd be surprised if we do not see a penalty shootout at the end of this game. But it looks like, and I mean, obviously we talked about psychology. This just turns it all around for Ridgefield. And, lest we forget, Ridgefield is a very dangerous attacker, so this could be a troubling second half of OT for Darien.
So 27 seconds left. Darien is now 10 minutes and 27 seconds away from pushing this one to penalties, as Ridgefield will have a set piece here that they'll boot up. So, how quickly a game can change. This one will be kept in and go out of bounds. It doesn't appear to be a corner, so a throw for Ridgefield here on the near side.
Good header from Darien. Again, they just want to run this clock out here as we're walking into what could be a very interesting second half of extra time.
So that'll do it for the first extra time period. Darien will continue to be a man down, and we'll be back in a moment with the rest of this one. Welcome back here on the DAF Media Network as we get underway. Caruso takes a shot and fielded easily by Ian Euchre. Well, and Ridgefield will start it.
I said take a shot on target from anywhere, but if he was watching the stream, that's not what I meant. Look.
It was a shot on goal, so we'll give that to him. He's Peg with it here, trying to make something happen.
And in fairness, Darien pushing a good amount of men forward. They only have 3 back, which is unusual for a John Bradley side. The wind's picking up.
Yeah, and you can see some Darien attack in this half. I mean, you know, when you're down a man in soccer, the teams that take the most advantage of it are the teams that can exploit the space, pass around you. Ridgefield don't look like that team right now, so Darien could definitely still carve out some opportunities, keep a good amount of the ball.
This will be a corner here for Darien. Peg coming down to take it on the near side. Seems the wind's gusting as strong as ever, and it's getting much colder than it once was. But
it is frigid, and Darien are looking to take advantage here in the last 9 minutes.
Peg pushes it into the box, and that's punched away by Ian Euchre. But Whitaker able to field. He pushes that one back in, sails just high. Maybe a little wide as well, but Whitaker with a quality attempt nonetheless.
Oh, look, credit to Ian Euchre. He's been very, very assertive around the box, controlling it. You know, it's tough after giving up that equalizing goal, but he's done brilliantly in this extra time to stop Darien from having opportunities inside the box. For those of you just tuning in, Darien, man down in the broadcast, does mean Darien received a red card.
Yeah, so for a little recap, we'll go all the way back to the beginning. Ridgefield scored 2 on the middle of the first half in rapid succession. Darien was able to get 1 back with about 10 minutes left in the first and then grab a buzzer beater goal. Not something you hear often in soccer, which pushed us to extra time. In extra time, George Childs was awarded a red card, and Darien is now playing man down for the remaining 7.5-ish minutes here in extra time. Of course, not golden goal, so we will play the 7.5 minutes regardless of who scores and when that may be. If it's still tied after this, we will head to a penalty shootout.
There's a proper buzzer beater. Again, never see anything like it again. I mean, that clip might end up on ESPN. And if our commentary ends up on ESPN, I believe the word for it is justice. It's the right thing to do.
Gale warning in effect for Darien now, so it's a windy one to say the least.
Yeah, a man down. I mean, we've seen just about everything this game so far. We've seen some exceptional saves from Will Lehan, some great finishing from Ridgefield and Darien. We've seen a buzzer beater, a red card, and potentially a shootout. We'll see.
Well, it inches closer and closer. I'm sure the players have it on their minds right now. The players out there on the pitch. Who's going to be taking one? Obviously, still a ways away from it. And oh, he gives a free kick now.
We're going to have a set piece for Ridgefield here from about the 20-yard line.
This is where you need Lehan to really take control of that wall, position it correctly.
We saw something similar in the first half where the Darien wall was able to knock it down, and Lehan fielded it cleanly. Fisher Mills, a name we've been saying a whole lot of tonight, will take this one for Ridgefield. He's set up at about the 23-yard line. Mills puts this one in. Lehan fields cleanly in the net.
Gobble, gobble.
And I mean, that is just so hard. The ball is not very visible to him until it comes through the wall, and also it's tough to keep it in your hands, not spill it for the rebound. I mean, you know, for a game where 2 goals have been conceded, this is one of the better performances that, you know, I've ever seen by a high school goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I think you've also left out just the fact that, you know, he's in a very high pressure situation, so to do all of that at this level is big, as well as he cleans up another, and we are seeing Darien with elements of wanting to burn some clock here.
I mean, this just looks like the kind of guy you're backing in a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And to go back to the first half, neither of the 2 Ridgefield goals did Lehan do something particularly wrong on either. some stroke of luck involved in both of those finding the back of the net.
Yeah, I think the second goal he came out a bit far. He did get a decent boot on it, but it was just a good finish from Ridgefield. He's been very good in the games that I've watched.
As we approach the halfway mark here left in this final half, as there's a shot saved.
Still saves it.
This is ridiculous.
Because why not? Will Lehan just adding to the immaculate performance he's had tonight. And it will be a goal kick here. They're going to make him go over to the other side of the box.
And you see him making the calm down gesture with his hands. I wish I could, Will. I don't know how.
I think you could probably make a college tape for him out of just tonight's game, because he had some saves that, quite frankly, you really don't see at this level, at least very often.
So Darien now with since the man down, definitely been more defensive than they had been for the second half and start of the overtime period. But still doesn't seem like they're just counting down the seconds until penalty shootouts.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird limbo time here for both teams. I still feel like they both can't really figure out what they want. But I think you're right, Darien taking a much more conservative approach as we see, I think, both teams making substitutions. Ridgefield with a triple, Darien making one sub. I think fresh legs at this point in the game, it's a lot of minutes that some of these players have played. Could make a big difference.
There's the whistle, and it will be a set piece for Ridgefield here. Under 3.5 minutes to go now in this overtime period. Darien still playing a man down. Lehan ball bouncing around, able to get it out of the box. And we had a man offsides anyway, so Lehan will have a goal kick.
Oh, we spoke very highly of Lehan, and probably the first major mistake we've seen tonight. Doesn't amount to anything though with the offside flag up, but a little nervy. I'd still take him in penalties over Euchre. Darien really just wanting to get through this 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
taking the kick for Darien. He boots this one up well over the midfield marker. As DeSanctis will let this one go, and it will be a Darien throw.
Nice play from DeSanctis there. Really strong, powerful.
He has been governing that left-hand side, I have to say.
No, but that was a good little body feint he gave there. Ball rolls out. Darien hold the ball. Time comes off the clock.
Yeah, I mean, look, you really do want penalties at this point. I mean, it's just really difficult to see losing with a goalkeeper like this. You know, you are a man down.
The other thing, neither team in the lead, so clock will not stop on substitutions here late. As you see, we solid 20 or 25 seconds ran off there, and Darien will get a set piece. Caruso setting up to take it. Minute 42 left here and counting.
Well, and you talk about we were talking about skill versus experience earlier in the game too, and as we're heading towards this penalty shootout, I mean everyone knows which one of the two they want in that situation. And Darien's veterans, I mean,
experience.
Comey takes this one for Darien.
Experience was the answer I was looking for.
I mean, we might not even need penalties.
So that will go out of bounds on the far side and be a Darien throw. So clock will stop here briefly, just so Darien doesn't run the entire 68 seconds left off. There's a throw into the far side.
Yeah, it looks like John's told them to burn the clock, and they will gladly listen.
Be Darien ball here. Under a minute now. It looks like we might be heading towards what seems like the only fitting into this game in a penalty shootout.
A second buzzer beater?
Yeah.
But yes, I totally agree.
I was saying that stall tactic was very similar to the one Ridgefield was doing over in the corner.
Oh, no, not that way. I meant. But yes, I mean, it is definitely fitting. I mean, games like this, I mean, we've talked a lot about Darien, and since the second half started, they've been dominating. But Ridgefield did dominate that first half, and in some sense, both teams deserve it. And those games often end in a penalty shootout when it's a playoff situation.
So 10 seconds here left. Darien throw on the far side, and they might not even have to throw the ball here. Galvin will indeed. He gets this one in, and that will do it for extra time. We are headed to penalty shootouts here. We will take a short break because we need vocal rest for this penalty shootout that's coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
If you live in Darien, most likely you've benefited from the Darien Foundation. Since our founding in 1998, we've provided more than $4 million in grants to the Darien Emergency Services, public schools, and community organizations.
My husband and I are so happy to be raising our 4 young children in Darien. Over the years, I have admired the projects that the Darien Foundation has supported, and I'm excited to be a member of the board helping to further support the Foundation's mission. Kids' eyes light up when they talk about learning and eating in the edible garden at Tokenique School. And as a family, we've had so much fun watching varsity field hockey and lacrosse games under the Darien High School stadium lights. It certainly gives us peace of mind to know that if and when the next storm hits town, the Darien Library will always have power thanks to the Darien Foundation providing a generator.
As a resource, the Darien Foundation is unique within Fairfield County and indeed unique on a national level. For 20 years, the Darien Foundation has been investing in Darien in offering our community organizations, emergency services, and schools a local resource to help them pursue innovation and excellence. Thank you for supporting the Darien Foundation. We are building a better Darien.
Welcome back to the DAF Media Network. We're ready to get underway here in penalty shootouts. Shooting first for Ridgefield is number 7, Fisher Mills. And Will Lehan, of course, who's been magnificent all night, is in net for Darien.
And just a refresher on these rules, it is 5 penalty takers each. If someone wins mathematically, it's over. And if they are equal after 5 apiece, it goes to sudden death penalties. And really, Eric, the name of the game, especially in this pressure situation, is hit the target. Make them guess and hit the target.
Yeah, as we see, or hear rather, the cheers for Will Lehan in net. So much confidence in this game. Really a big moment for Fisher Mills right off the rip.
Mills in his second year on varsity, a senior who has been really leading the Ridgefield offense all night. Makes sense he's going first for them.
Now Lehan looks very big in goal. This is a goalkeeper who knows what he's doing with penalty kicks. He's making himself look big.
Mills' shot finds the corner. Ridgefield will knock down their first penalty.
Really clinical from Mills there.
Yeah, look, it was good goalkeeping, but just a better finish. It's exactly where we want to place it. You either want to place it very high or very low, and Fisher Mills far too low there for the goalkeeper's reach.
Ian Euchre will continue to take in net for Ridgefield, and it's Trevor Pegg taking the first goal kick for Darien. That one gets saved by Euchre. Ridgefield holding on to their 1-0 lead as we enter the second round.
I mean, talk about the hero from the sidelines. Euchre guesses the right way, gets both hands in front of that. I don't know. Can't really say much else. I don't think it's a bad pen. Euchre just guessed correctly.
Correct. No, it's just about hitting the target. You assume Ridgefield's going to miss the target on one. There's just too much pressure in these situations. 4 more takers. Darien just have to stay calm here.
Nicholas Palaz taking it now for Ridgefield, their second one, also a senior. As he goes dead center and finds the back of the net, Ridgefield goes 2 for 2 to open.
Well, and this is a difficult situation for any Darien kicker.
It's Darien sending their senior captain, Chase Caruso.
A lot of confidence we saw during regulation, extra time from Caruso. Very talented player, and he'll just need to keep his nerve here.
It's a big one for Darien. Caruso finds the back of the net, goes right side, and puts Darien on the board here, 2-1 now.
That's interesting. I think he actually gave a look to the left before he took it. Ends up going right.
That's a picture-perfect penalty.
So the brother, Andres Palaz, now taking it for Ridgefield, number 8. And Lehan looking to get a stop.
Well, he seems anxious to take it.
Palaz, Lehan knocks it away.
Oh, no. No.
We
had to happen.
Getting.
So, to the folks at home, what happened was that the assistant referee over there with the flag, who's on the goal line, he saw that Lehan moved off of his line forward too early, so the penalty is retaken.
So Palaz will go again. Lehan waiting in net. He jumps, he goes top shelf and able to bury that one. So Ridgefield will take a 3-1 lead with Darien's third kick coming up. It's James Galvin, the senior captain, the other senior captain, getting ready to take this one.
I feel like this referee on the touchline is a new addition for penalties. Not that we ever had a penalty shootout, but FCIAC's going professional on us, Jonathan. The times have turned.
We did not get the good treatment. Wow. Well, it's really make or miss now for Darien. I mean, you just can't afford to miss one more at this point in time.
Galvin right to the keeper, and that one will be saved. Ridgefield 3-1 lead through 3. Credit to Euchre, just clutch when he needed to be.
Well, Ridgefield have 2 bites at the apple to advance to the FCIAC semifinal. No pressure on the taker, and this one is to win it. Well, this game's had everything. Eric, do you think there's one more twist in the tail?
It's hard to say that there will be, unfortunately, but
Andrew Foster taking this one. Lehan, and it finds the back of the net. Ridgefield takes the penalty shootout, 4-1, and he goes to celebrate in front of the Darien student section as this Ridgefield team will move on in the FCIAC quarterfinals, and they will take on Greenwich Monday at Ludlow in the semis. So Darien obviously disappointed in the result, but they can walk away knowing they fought for that entire second half to tie this game at 2-2, just eventually not enough in penalties.
Yeah, the penalty shootouts are the cruelest way to lose. It's always a bit of a coin flip. If the Darien players can't hold their head as high as possible after that game, after that performance, the mentality, the tenacity to come back, I don't know what else to say. And I mean, objectively, Eric, I mean, we've commentated a lot of games. We've played a lot of soccer games since we were little kids. I mean, that's got to be one of the best ones ever, if not the best.
I mean, regular time, very exciting. Darien with one of probably the greatest goals I can remember at a high school level, just to equalize. It's just unfortunate that you have to see the Ridgefield players more interested in celebrating in front of the opposition fans than their own. A little sad on their part, but I guess, you know, congratulations to them as they advance. Disappointing for Darien, and you know, tough result for the Wave.
So you see the bracket on your screen. Greenwich took over McMahon in penalty shootouts earlier today. Ridgefield took Darien in penalty shootouts in our game. Ward took Staples, and Norwalk and Denbury will play tomorrow afternoon to fill that last semifinal spots. Those teams will all play Monday, with the final being on Thursday. So that'll do it for us for this one. Your final score once again in penalty shootouts: Ridgefield 4, Darien 1, 2-2 in regulation. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you on our next broadcast.